Okay, we're at 2 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. This is Just One Thing from Swell. If you're new here, we're especially glad you're here. We're glad you're joining us. My name is Jenny Vance, and I'm the Director of Client Experience here at Swell Fundraising. Our Just One Thing sessions are monthly educational sessions where we talk about one tip, trick, or tool to help you get the most out of your Swell licenses. So today we're going to be talking about online campaigns. And it's a common topic, so we talk about this a lot, and we have a lot of resources to go along with it. So I'm going to be posting in the chat. I'm going to be posting a collection of resources. I'll also post this with the recording, which is in your help guide, and we'll go through how to get there. Before we dive into our topic, just want to make sure we know how to get around Zoom. Most of us have been using Zoom for a minute, but things changed pretty recently about how you get around. So just to make sure you know where everything is, you won't be able to control your audio or your video. I have this blocked so for the presentation, but if you have questions, please do ask them in the chat. It looks like this, and this bar is at the bottom of your screen. So if you just hover down there with your mouse, you should be able to bring that up. If you want to send emojis, you can do that with the little heart icon. And if you missed something, there's a feature called AI Companion. So Zoom, like everybody else, has some AI features right now. And if you missed something or you just want to go back and see what was said, you can ask AI questions about what has already been presented. And finally, if you need to leave, this little symbol that looks like a fire escape is how you leave the meeting. It won't end the meeting for everybody else. It'll just end the meeting for you. And the replay, like this, like all of our Just One Things, will be in your help guide in the section called Resources under Just One Thing. So with that, just want to make sure there are no questions so far. I know we're just getting started, but make sure everybody can get around. Okay, looking good. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about online campaigns, but I want to give you a little overview of what we're going to talk about. First, we're going to talk about why you might want to consider an online campaign. And then we're going to look at some common examples and types that we see here at Swell. We'll talk a little bit about how to set up an online campaign. They're super easy, by the way. I'll go over some tips for success. We'll have a brief review, and you'll have time to ask questions throughout the entire thing. Then we'll talk about what's next. So in July, our next Just One Thing. With that, let's dive in. Yay! I really like online campaigns because they're super simple. So in fact, that's one of the first reasons why you might want to have it. They're really fast to set up. You don't have tickets. You don't have tables, usually. You don't have any of that. You just have some content that you want to add, some branding, and then maybe check your emails and launch. So it's really fast. They're a great way to expand your reach. So if you have a group of champions, for instance, if you're running a champion campaign, and we'll look at that in just a moment as to what that is. But if you have a champion campaign, you may be able to reach people that you wouldn't normally, people who aren't already in your donor database and don't come to your gala, but might be interested in participating in something else. And so it gives you also some new engagement opportunities, ways to engage with people you might not normally. So here are a few of the types of online campaigns we typically see. And just so we're all on the same page, an online campaign is obviously a campaign that's online. They can have a physical component, so there might be a kickoff meeting or an end of the campaign celebration, but they usually don't. And they are time-bound, meaning they exist. They're not like a donation page that's up all the time. They're up for a certain amount of time. You're running a campaign just like you would for an event. It has a date that starts and a date that ends. So some of the most common types we see are flash campaigns, champion campaigns, annual appeals, and then tributes or occasions. So flash campaign, those are sometimes called crisis campaigns, and they usually happen when you have a specific need. So maybe there was a storm or a fire or something like that. Brooke did an entire Just One Thing on flash campaigns last summer sometime. So I'm going to link to that in the resources in your help guide so that you can watch that and look at those resources as well if you want. flash campaigns can also be, we'll look at one in a little while, that's for a specific need. So maybe you have a new program that you want to support. That could also be a flash campaign. A champion campaign is where you have a group of supporters. You determine who they are before the campaign starts. Usually it's 10 to 20 people, and you tell them about your campaign. They love you already, you know that, and they are well networked. So a lot of people pick their boards. Boards are not always the best people to pick for these because they're already doing so much, board members. But they are great resources for helping you find champions. And you want people who have different networks. So you don't want people who are all in the same circle, because if they are, then they're reaching out to the same people. Anyway, so you gather this group of champions, and for a certain amount of time, you ask them to reach out to their networks and ask them to support you during this campaign. And you give them the tools and sometimes the competitive push they need. So peer-to-peer fundraising is a great add for champion campaigns. So it's a great thing to add in. And that's things like leaderboards and things that foster friendly competition. Annual appeals, you know what those are. So those are your end of year campaigns or Giving Tuesday campaigns. They happen every year on a specific cycle. Maybe you send out a mailing. Creating an online campaign to go along with that mailing will give you a QR code that people can use on their phones or on social media to gather more for your annual appeals. And then tributes or occasions. Those are usually memorials or celebrations. So maybe it's an anniversary, or a longtime employee is retiring, or you want to celebrate a board member. Those would be tributes and occasions. Okay, so this slide, there's a lot on this slide. Here are some screenshots from some different campaigns that we've had. Now, there are two that are just kind of sample play events, but a lot of them here are actual Swell events that have happened on Swell. So you'll see there's all kinds here. So here's a traditional champion campaign, and then we have a couple of crisis campaigns or flash funding campaigns for different reasons, an annual appeal. We have a new program that's being funded, and a kind of a fun take on a champion campaign where the pets are the ones raising the funds and not people. And then we have a scholarship fund. So really the only limit there is your imagination. An online campaign can be anything you want, and it can be for any reason and for any amount of time. So we've even seen galas flip from, they'll have their traditional gala, and then they'll flip that into an online campaign to raise awareness for an entire month, or sometimes longer, but usually it's a month. For instance, during Domestic Violence Prevention Month, or during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, something like that. They'll do an entire campaign. Right now, one of our most popular online campaigns is a walk. So instead of doing a traditional walk, they're allowing people to walk anytime they want during the whole month, and it's to prevent veteran suicide. But during the entire month, people can join and they can walk, and it's all done online. So they don't have to be at a specific time on a specific date like traditional walks. Okay, I clicked too fast. So now that we have an idea about how these campaigns can be used, I want to talk about how to create one. But before I dive into that, I just want to make sure real quick, are there any questions so far about, or ideas that you want to talk about a campaign that you want to run? If you have anything, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. Again, it's kind of in the center and the bottom. And I'll give just a second for that. And then we'll look at how to set these up. Okay. All right, so let's look at how to set these up. So they're really easy. We're not going to go into the back side of the software right now to show you how to set them up. And the reason is we already have a guide in your help desk in your help guide about how to do this. So it takes you through step by step. So you don't need me to do it again today. That would be a waste of your time. So you already have that resource, and I will link to it for you. Basic steps. let's just look at it in basic steps. So when you log in, you're going to go to events and you're going to click that green plus sign. Everything starts with the green plus sign in Swell. And then basic things, you're going to need details. So that's the who, what, when, where of your campaign. You're going to need your branding images, just specific ones. You won't need the ticket header and footer because you're not using tickets, most likely. Same with tables. Content, so you're going to want to delete that default homepage text that it says and put in information about your event. You can add additional content pages if you want. You're going to check your donation page settings because you're going to be using that Give Now button, and maybe you want different amounts, or you want to allow people to pay later, you want to allow pledging, so you can set all of that up. If you want the Become a Fundraiser button on, you're going to turn that on in your button settings. You can also configure how the buttons read, so what they say, the text on them there, so if you want to change that. And then that's it. You're going to go back to your dashboard for this event and you're going to click launch. That's it. Maybe you're going to look at your emails and make sure they're right before you launch it, but they're really, really fast. So depending on the nature of your campaign, you may have a few less steps, a few more steps. If you're using groups, you might want to create those before. If you have a set group of fundraisers that you're using, you may want to put them in before, those kinds of things. So from all those examples we just looked at, let's zero in on these two. So these, just these two events right here, and I'm going to take you into those right now. So we're going to go look at the front. So this is the community garden that we were talking about just a moment ago. So the community garden is a fundraiser. It's for the education series, so it's got information about that. Of course, this is a play event, so it's just lorem ipsum text here. Your event, you would actually put what the program is, and same with about us and that. I just want to show you an example of what it might look like, though, so you can get an idea. So for this one, we've got row captains. We have a set group of volunteers that we've asked to help. And so we have our leaderboards on to inspire them. We have row captains and we have rows. And then we also have this page here, row captains, where we have everybody on one page. And then we have a little bit of content page about us on here. And we've renamed our button. So this is the give button. So it usually says give now, but we've renamed it and called it something else. Let's look at what that looks like on the back. So if we go into this event on the back in Swell, we can see this is the dashboard, but we're going to look at setup. That's where we want to spend our time. So we look at branding and we can see that all of our branding images are in here. Now this one, because it's a play event, there's also a ticket header and footer. But again, since you're not using those, you don't need them for your event. So just here's all of those. And if you've made any changes, of course, you want to scroll down and you want to hit that Save Changes button just to make sure that they're preserved. Okay, so we could set our fee coverage if we want to. Right now we're allowing donors to choose. If we want to require them to pay that, we could do that. You don't need comps, you don't need coupons because you don't have any tickets. We do need some content. So if we notice back here on our page, we have these 4 pages. And then if I look at it on the back side, I can see that there's actually a hidden page. And of course, this shows me what's active and what's hidden. So hidden, I have one hidden page here, and it's a resources page. So this is great if you want to send this out to your supporters, to your champions that are helping you with this campaign. You can create a resources page for them and send out that link, but not have it live on your site so everybody sees that. But they can still access that, and you can update it anytime you want. The other page I want to call your attention to is that fundraisers page, so the row captains page. And of course, we have rows instead of fundraisers for this. We have row captains because it's a garden, and so you would have garden rows. So that's what. So this page on the back side, it looks like there's nothing there. On the front side, it shows all of our fundraisers. So it shows all our row captains right here. And the way to do that is super simple. You don't have to create that grid and pull in all of that information. All you have to do is click this button, this Show Fundraisers button, and that'll pull it all in for you. And then you want to scroll down and click Save. But that's how you pull that information in. Okay. So are there any questions there? Again, this one is really, really simple. Okay, so we're going to go look at that virtual pet parade. And it looks like I was playing on another page here for a moment. So this is the front side of that page. And again, this is a simple campaign. We've just put in a little bit of extra things here. So that's why I wanted to show it to you. So on our content page, you can put in links, and we've gone through how to do that and some other just one thing. So I don't want to take up your time here. But so if you wanted to spread the word to this, for instance, this is the link for that is mailed to, so it goes to an email address. And Catherine, I see your question. I'll get to that in one moment. Okay, we'll go back into the backside and I'll show you how to put individuals in groups. Great question. So just on this page, so we've changed that button again. So we've changed it to vote now. And we've also added the become a fundraiser button on this page. We have all of our fundraising. We have all of our fundraisers on one page here. And so everybody is listed there. If you click on any of these, it will go to that personal fundraising page. So this is going to take just a minute to load. So while it does that, I'm going to switch back into the back, and we are going to look at how to add people to group. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Well, so it's up. So we'll talk about this. So this is a personal fundraising page, and we have Minnie the cat here, and Minnie has updated her photo. And the way she's done that is she's just clicked this update your page. Everything pops up for you. You send yourself an email. It sends you back a link, and then you can put in your picture. Let me know if you need me to slow that down, and I will slow that down for you and go through it step by step. But that's how you do that. And then this about section, that is under details. So anytime you're in the back of Swell in an event, in the details section here, you have this section that says description for fundraising pages. That's where it shows up. All right. So your question, Catherine, was about how to put people into groups. So I'm going to go into this one. I'm not going to quit sharing my screen, but we have a bunch of test events in here. So we don't need to look in all those. We just need this virtual pet parade because these people are in groups already. I guess the garden people were too. So in setup, there's a section called groups over here. So you're going to click on groups. And then if you need to create a group, so you're going to create a group here. So we'll just click the green plus sign, and we're going to call this one, got to type in the blank. We're going to call this one new group, just so we know what that is. Okay, and we're going to click save. All right, and then we would need a fundraiser in there. So either we could put a fundraiser in through the front side. Again, we're in the pet one, so we'll go ahead and do that. Click join the parade. And this one, I'm just going to type my name. And now, if you have the Become a Fundraiser button on, you could select the group from here. So new group, and that would put me in that group. On the back side, there's a way to do it as well. So we're going to go back into the back side. When you're setting up your fundraisers back here, maybe you have your group of champions and you want to put them in the groups that you've already created in setup under groups. You're going to go to fundraisers and click a new one. And this one I'm going to call IMA, so we see it different. I'm a fundraiser. And email address, I'm going to use the same one. And we want to show them on the leaderboard. I'm not going to put a phone number, and then I'm just going to choose their group right here. So I can choose new group and click save. If I need to move somebody who's already back here, maybe somebody registered on the front side, but they didn't choose their group, all they have to do is click the edit button, which is a square with a pen or a pencil in it. And so we'll just click that. It brings up the same thing. We can select the group from here. New group, click save. And then they'll be in that group. So we have to go back and refresh in order to see that. So let's go back here. Okay, so if we scroll down, well, it's going to take a moment for that to show up maybe. Let's go. I'm going to open a new tab for it. Okay, so we see we have our new group here. And then if we scroll down, we could find that those new people. We could also, again, since they're all on one page, we could look at the pet parade here. And those will be easy to see because they don't have pictures yet. If I click into any of those, we can tell what group they're in. It says, it's going to take just a moment, I guess. Okay, so there we go. So right here on a personal fundraising page, it tells you which group they're in. Okay. So any other questions while we're here? Oh, I see there are some. Is there a way for not all fundraisers who've bought tickets in our situation, okay, to not show up on the leaderboards? So Catherine's question is there a way to limit the fundraisers on the back? So yes, there is a setting that we can do. We need to do that for you. We can put in a setting for you if they're already on there. So back here in fundraisers, if you've already got people who have purchased tickets and you don't want those people on, you can edit them. You can take them off just by clicking this little icon. And then you're going to leave them in the same group, but uncheck the box that says show on leaderboard, and then it's not going to show them. Does that answer your question, Catherine? Okay. All right. I'm going to stop my share for just a second and check our questions. No, there isn't. So Catherine's follow-up question, is there a simpler way to delete them versus one by one? Reach out to help, support at swellfundraising.com, and we can help you with it, but no, there is not. We will still be doing it one by one. You can prevent them from being on there. So if it's in the beginning stages and you don't have people registered yet, reach out to support and we can help you so that they don't show up. But if they're already on there, we have to go through and take them out one by one. Okay. Yes, so Sarita also has another question. Sarita, your question is, will support be available if I get stuck? Support is always available. So let me share my screen with you. I want to show you two icons. So there's a link in the left-hand menu and also in the footer anytime you're logged into Swell. And that takes, excuse me, that takes you to our help guide. So if you go, let's see, I'm not sharing my screen. One sec. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I want to made my window too small. 1 second, sorry. Okay, so share screen. All right, so share. Here we are. So I'm sharing again. Hopefully you can see that. So when you click on that link back here again, so manage, and so when you're logged into Swell, if you click this link here that says help desk, or you click this link here, it's going to open up all of our support articles for you. So that looks like this. You can search right here, and you can also send us a ticket, or you can just email support@swellfundraising.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, email us and we're happy to help you. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, we may not be on, but generally we answer as quickly as we can. So it's usually pretty fast. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we are clear on questions. Any more? Just type them in there. Happy to help. Okay. Okay, so now we've looked at how to set up those, generally, how to set up those campaigns. So I want to talk about some tips for success. So, and just one thing. I'm so sorry. Drop my notes. So we want to talk about some tips for success for online campaigns. As I said, there are a bunch of resources in your help guide for all of this, and I'm going to paste a bunch in there with this when the replay is ready. So the replays are all in your help guide, which I just showed you how to get there, in resources, and then just one thing. And the last one that we had will be the first one. The last one appears first in the list. Okay, so some tips. You want to communicate your why. So why are you fundraising and why is your organization important? You want to communicate that both on your Swell page, on your campaign site, and to your fundraisers and to those that are fundraising, that they're asking for donations on your behalf. So you want to communicate your why to them too. In resources, you want to give them the words to say, give them the stories to say. And you want to know who. So we talked about that a little bit. If you're doing a champion campaign, know who you're going to ask to be your champions. And have a good idea of that before you start your campaign. It all starts with planning. You want to give the fundraisers the tools they need. Maybe consider creating a resources page like a community garden one that we looked at. And use competition to your advantage. So generally, people who are participants in these kinds of campaigns, these champion kind of campaigns, they're usually a little competitive. They want credit. They want to be on the top of that leaderboard. So email them often and tell them where they stand in the leaderboards. Of course, they can go and look anytime they want, but it's always great if you can reach out and stay in contact with them and keep that motivation going. Another thing that's not on here is to keep your time measurement in check. It can be as long as you want. An online campaign is time bound, but it can be as long as you want or as short as you want. Typically what we found is 3 weeks to about a month is the sweet spot. That's not so long that people lose interest in it, but long enough to get the flow going and get that momentum going for the campaign. So generally a campaign, an online campaign that's a champion campaign, about a month is good to do. And then the last thing here is to say thank you. So thank your donors, thank your fundraisers, and do that privately. Send them emails, give them a call, however they like to be communicated with. Do that, and do that privately, but also publicly on your social media channels. Thank them for their time and for all they're doing for you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to take just one moment to look and see if we have any more questions before we move on. We're going to wrap up. We're going to look at a quick review of what we just talked about, and then we're going to talk about what's next. So before we do that, any other questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any, so let's do a quick wrap up. So today we talked about online campaigns, and we talked about why you might consider adding them to your event calendar. We talked about some common examples. So those were things like flash fundraising and champion campaigns, funding a new program. And then we talked about how to set them up, how to put people in groups, how to create groups. And then we talked about a few tips for success. So next up, our next Just One Thing is in July. We do this once a month. So it's July 23rd, and it's going to be a panel discussion. Brooke is going to lead it, and she's going to be talking with some Swell clients about ways that they highlight their sponsors for their events and their campaigns of all kinds. So that's always a really good topic. We have a lot of interest in that. Everybody wants to know how to honor their sponsors and get more sponsorships. So should be a really interesting conversation. I love getting ideas from people who have done it. Just talking to different people, it's fun to get some more ideas and get out of our own heads. So that is July 23rd, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that's a Wednesday. So we always like to end these with how to get help if you need it. So we just talked about this, but in the left-hand menu, there's the button for the help desk, and also in the footer, if you can't find what you're looking for, support@swellfundraising.com. And then something that's not on here, on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at lunch, we have a power hour. So it's lunchtime Central Time, so noon Central or 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And we're on Zoom. We can be your accountability partner and body double with you, and just so you can just work and get things done. Or if you have questions, you can bring them live and we will help you with them during that time. All right, so with that, one more quick question, quick check on questions. Anybody have any other questions today about online campaigns or really anything else? Where is the help guide? Thanks, Melissa. So the help guide is, if you click the button on the left-hand side, let's see. All right, so let's pull that up here. Okay, so in your Swell dashboard, this help desk button right here, or this one down here, they take you to the same place. And it takes you to your help guide, which looks like this. I'm not clicking the button. The only reason I'm not doing that is because I'm logged in. And so for me, when I click those buttons, I'm logged into Zendesk. It opens all of our tickets. So when you send support@swellfundraising.com, it sends us a ticket and we answer them that way. If I click those buttons because I'm logged into Zendesk, it's going to open all of that. So give me just 1 second and I will log out and then share again. There we go. Okay, so okay, so if I'm in our dashboard here, I'm going to refresh that just to make sure. So all I have to do is hit help desk right here, and it's going to open that up for me. And then I can use this search bar to find any of the answers. Oops, I'm not sharing, so sorry. Let me do it again. Okay, so from back here, click either here or here. It doesn't matter, they go the same place. It opens up this help guide and it's organized by topic, but you also have a search function. So if you're looking for online campaigns, just type in what you're looking for. And for instance, here's that steps to build an online campaign right here. And it'll go through step by step for you. Melissa, she sees it now. She just thought that it was to ask for help. And I get that. I see where it would be. You can ask for help for there, but it's also where your help guide is. So, and since I have you here, one quick tour here. So these things here, you'll see them often in the help guide, and they are scribes. And what it is step-by-step instructions. If this is blank, you log in and it's blank, it's loading. They're content heavy, and so it takes a little bit of time to load. But they take you through the process, whatever the process is that it's discussing step by step. So for this, it's taking you through online campaigns. When you're done with this section, so it's blinking, it's telling you to browse events, click next, and then it'll show you what to do. So it'll tell you, press the green plus sign. The instructions are always right above. To move to this next step, you just click the little purple button down there. And that's how those work. Okay. Okay, guys. So with that, we're at the end of our time. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming. And we hope to see you in July. So July 23rd, and we'll be talking with some other Swell clients about sponsorships. Thanks, guys. Bye.